Welcome back, guys. This is another episode of the Jordan Patrick Show. I'm your host, Jordan, here with Richie and Elliot. Gentlemen, how we doing?
Good, buddy.
We're here.
Feeling good.
All right. Yeah, I just got back from vacation, so I'm refreshed, ready to roll. Went up to Maine for about 7 days with the family and had a great time, but it's good to be back. Did you guys see this game last night? The Field of Dreams game in Dyersville, Iowa, their first Major League ball game ever. Did you guys see this?
It's part of the reason for my sleep deprivation. I purposely DVR'd the game, but I forgot that I have the Yes updates. So I'm walking in my truck after a long day of work, and they give me the score. I'm like, damn it. I wanted to pretend I didn't see it. I'm like, who cares? I'm watching it anyway. Once in a lifetime. Man, seeing Kevin Costner present, that movie came out in '89, bro.
Yeah, and for the listener and for the viewer, the MLB actually built a stadium just steps away from where they filmed the movie Field of Dreams. And this stadium is, hosted a game last night between the New York Yankees and the Chicago White Sox, and it was just an awesome moment for baseball. And being a fan of the sport, it was wonderful, and especially how this game unfolded. It was unbelievable to watch. We'll get into that in just a minute, but they literally placed it right in the middle of the cornfields, and I mean, it's picturesque. They had them in the throwback uniforms, which I loved. I thought was great. El, did you see any of this game?
I did not. I was at work, but I know my father watched it. He's Field of Dreams is one of his favorite movies. So when he heard about this, he was psyched. He was wanting us to talk about this on the show.
Yeah.
I know I got pictures from him and my mother doing hot dogs and, the whole ballpark experience from home, kind of very like pandemic friendly experience of this sort of nostalgic baseball game. I think is awesome. I think it's a really smart approach on the part of MLB to take something as kind of classic as Field of Dreams and bring it to life in a real way, honoring the history of the whole saga with Shoeless Joe and all that, as well as bringing it to the modern era. It's great.
It was a great approach, and they did a hell of a job putting it together too. So, and it was basically a home run derby. Rich, you can vouch for this. I mean, you got guys on both sides. You got Zavala with a home run. You got Tim Anderson with a home run, walk off. You got Abreu, spoiler alert, with the opening home run, first ever home run in the state of Iowa in a major league game, that came from Jose Abreu. Gardy got a home run.
I knew Gardy was going to play well in a game like that. This is probably his last season. I just felt he was going to play well.
Well, Gardy was like 50 years old when the movie came out. Giancarlo Stanton. If Mike Stanton hits a home run, your Yanks are doing good. And Jimenez also with another home run. And then we can't forget about the 2 bombs from Aaron Judge. Very impressive game. Your Yankees showed up. But tell our viewers what happened, Rich.
We started Andrew Heaney.
And it wasn't Boone's fault this time. It wasn't.
No, it wasn't. And it normally is. It hasn't been Boone's fault for the better part of a month. I'm going to lay off him a little. Yankees have been taxed with the bullpen.
You want the office to lay him off. I think you got that backwards, bro.
Yankees have been taxed with the bullpen. I can't get mad. We don't even have our real closer in. And, Tim Anderson is a low ball hitter.
Aroldis Chapman's on the IL for the viewer.
Yeah. Tim Anderson won the matchup. It's that simple. But when you look at the dramatic nature of the movie, then it coming to life, 3 decades later, it was appropriate the way the game ended.
Beautiful.
Unfortunately, my team got beat, but I think both these teams, the White Sox and Yankees, are trending in the right direction. And it should be fun down the stretch. For the first time this season, I actually believe that the Yankees are going to make the postseason.
I still don't. Yankees are 7 games back in the AL, a couple games behind Boston. It's tough. You're in a weird spot. You had all the momentum in the world going into the 9th inning with those home runs from Judge and Stanton. The struggles from Joey Gallo, I want you to speak on this as well. The acquisition of gaining him, putting him on your roster, everybody thought it was going to be a huge acquisition. So far, not so much. I mean, he's getting his walks. He's getting on base, which is actually one of the runs that scored when Judge hit the bomb. So that's great, but he's not swinging the bat as well as I thought he would be. What do you think?
it's all true what you said. He leads MLB in walks, so he gets on base.
Yeah, he's up there with Joey Votto type stuff.
Yeah, which kind of covers up for that bad average. I think the Yankees knew what they were getting. They're getting a home run guy that's a very good defender, that never hits for average, strikes out a lot, and walks about as often as he strikes out.
Sounds like Sanchez.
Yeah, in time he'll come out of it. They're missing Rizzo really bad because I've been dying to see Rizzo and Voit in the same lineup.
Yeah,
and if that happens, I'm imagining they're going to put Stanton in the field. 40-man rosters are coming soon. I think the Yankees are in a good spot. We're going to see how it plays out. But, with all the COVID IL guys and just the depleted and overworked bullpen, 17 games in 17 days.
Yeah.
It's still the best record in MLB during that period. Finally get an off day, a much-needed off day. And they'll be in the Windy City for the last two. I think it's going to be good. I
just think it was pretty poetic to see, all the home runs in the ninth inning, and then it comes back on the, onto Chicago's plate. And Zavala gets walked. Britton walks Zavala, and then Tim Anderson just comes up and hits an opposite field dinger. Butler
got caught by a low ball hitter. He won the matchup. That's simple. Last thing I got to say on this, though. You've seen the movie. We've seen the movie. How cool was it when these teams were coming out of the cornfields initially, like right when they hit the field? Didn't that look like some cinematic stuff?
It was great.
It almost looked like that ghost stuff, like how they were coming out of the cornfields.
It was great, man. It was a lot of fun to watch. I really enjoyed it. And I think we'll wrap this up. But baseball, MLB did a great job putting this together. And I hope they keep doing this going forward.
It's what we talked about, right? One of the big things that gets forgotten is sports are entertainment.
Yes.
Right? And baseball is not always the most visual spectacular unless you're watching guys knock them out of the park, which they did tonight. But, using this cinematic experience, using the tied-in history. You know how many great baseball movies there are? You can't say that about other sports.
Yeah,
baseball's got more amazing movies than any other sport, maybe boxing. But, the point is baseball embracing the entertainment aspect is the way it's going to survive. It's the way forward. I love it. I really do.
They packaged it so well. They just did it. They did a bang-up job. So.
Great way to welcome in casual viewers, younger viewers, and just new fans. That's how you build your product.
You're also getting those older fans again, just reigniting that interest,
Absolutely, because there's a lot of nostalgia with the game, and there was nothing more nostalgic than that field and those two teams yesterday.
Exactly. And speaking of young players, Jordan Love, I'm sorry, I'm just kidding. How do you guys feel about the whole issue going on with Rodgers and this whole saga that's going down? I want to talk to you in depth about this, guys. I want to break this down. How do you guys feel? El, we'll start with you.
He should. He kind of looks like Rodgers right now anyway with that bun he's got working.
He stole my – nah, man. It took me a long time to do this shit. My wife gave me no chance. Yeah, I got a head start. Actually, I'm his style consultant. Sorry to the world for that, but,
Tell him to take those fucking sunglasses off.
He's embracing the heel role. Which I think is part of this, right? This, speaking of entertainment, it's very much like wrestling, where Aaron Rodgers is okay with being the villain this year. I think
he embraced it. But where did this come from? Like, why? Where did this stem from? Just go with that for a minute.
Rodgers has always been kind of a wild card, and if you read any interviews with him, he's definitely a divergent thinker. Like he is outside the box, and arguably that's what makes him such a great quarterback. In addition to his physical gifts, is his ability to read the game in a way that no one else sees.
Sure.
I think he got tired of seeing things differently and no one listening to him about it. This seems to be, if you take him at his word, this is a difference in philosophy between himself and the front office. What that means is they're not listening to his opinion on personnel. He says his working relationship with the coach is fine. I think that's kind of a white lie, but this just seems to be him not feeling like his opinion is valued when it comes to personnel.
Now, how much of that is a factor when it comes to the Green Bay Packers are actually owned by they have shareholders.
Yes.
How much of that is a factor, Rich? Is that a huge element here? And also, this is a two-part question. Is he losing fans, a lot of fans on this, or is he actually gaining a lot of fans by being a stickler?
I think he's lost some of the real loyal Rodgers fans. That fan base is arguably the most loyal in all of sports, let alone football, because to your point, the shareholders. And they're the smallest town of any professional sport.
No doubt.
To your question, yes, he has lost some fans. He's gained a couple as well because he's holding his ground. But the Packers historically will never bend over for any player, no matter the height of their fame, their skill. It's been proven time and time again. Reggie White retired. Then he was like, wait, I want to come back. Green Bay was like, thank you for all your help. We're not changing our plans for you.
Yeah.
Favre fake retired.
Favre's a prime example, yeah.
After the 07 title game against the G-Men. Then he had second, third, and fifth thoughts. Shows up on a helicopter in Lambeau. You talk about dramatic and cinematic value. And they dealt him to the Jets.
Exactly.
Ultimately, he wanted to go play with Childress.
That's not punishment.
You talk about the villain. That dude was in villain mode. Not so much when he was a Jet. That didn't piss people off in Green Bay too bad. But when they put on the purple, bro, he was hated.
Yeah, people were angry.
That was specifically Green Bay fans, whereas this has been kind of universally across the media spectrum. Most people have taken a hard line against Rodgers. And I've mentioned this to you guys before. This seems like another generational divide. The older traditional fan base says, no, the team is who I root for. The team is who I'm a fan of. I might love a player, but they come and go.
Sure.
Whereas younger fans tend to be enamored with a particular player. And you see this in other sports. I've mentioned in soccer, it's more common, but like fans that follow a player.
Yeah.
And I think you're seeing that. You got people backing Rodgers no matter what dumb shit he does. And you got people saying, no, it's Green Bay. Fuck whoever is at quarterback if they're not going to be a team player.
There's definitely those two mindsets. I think my question, and a lot of people have this question as well, I'll pitch this to you, El, is why was all this necessary? This drama, it seemed to be like he was just building it up. And what was the whole end game here? What was his focus what was he trying to accomplish, I guess is what I'm asking.
I have two theories about it. One is that it's all a show and that he was just generating attention for the team. Narrative writing, like imagine what a story it's going to be if they win the Super Bowl this year. So what an amazing NFL film you already have pre-written for this season if they pull it off.
Honestly.
They brought back Randall Cobb, one of his favorite teammates, right? More pragmatically, I think this is contract negotiation, and it comes down to what I think we're going to talk about next is next year. I think he would have maybe liked to leave a year early, but
I think he's doing it. To interject on that point real quick, I think he's doing it just for that. I think he's really trying to go after another contract next year. That's really what it's going to be. I think ultimately, they do not stay together as a unit. Rodgers is on the way out. Rich, I know you want to speak on this as well, but I'm going to pitch this to you, Rich. Is it possible that they can actually win a Super Bowl this year?
Absolutely.
What path is it going to take for them to get there?
From playing in that game the last 2 years. Now, I'm going to make this short and sweet with regard to the contract. The Packers are voiding 2023. So 2022 is an interesting situation no matter what they do, whether they win or whatever happens, because that is the year to trade him, to get something for him. It's almost like a planned divorce.
Yeah.
To Elliot's point earlier, it's fundamental reasonings that they just don't agree on. Now, you made the point about younger and older fans. Our interview subject, John Olsen, although he is an old-timer and seen it all in football, happens to be Team Rodgers on the level that he just feels that he was there long enough to maybe get a little more respect. Not necessarily the Brady treatment, but to get a little more respect and say, you know what, man, give us some input. You've been here long enough. And, he has carried that team for a very long time.
I'm glad you brought that up, too.
MVP.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers should rightfully be considered a Packers legend. And it still feels like today in 2021 that he has to deal with the shadow of Favre, when we talk about Rodgers, it's always in the context of Brett Favre because their careers touched ends, right? The other issue here is a lot of people have been thinking Rodgers is positioning this contract because it's his last contract. Brady reset the market, dude. I don't think that like you have the amount reset by Mahomes, but you have longevity in a way that we have not seen before. Brady's what, 45 or some shit? Like,
well, explain how that works. So Mahomes' contract was what, a decade or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay, and then so you're saying Brady's little 2-year deal over what was it, 51 million or something?
But they're paying a guy more than a year-to-year contract who's in his 40s. That's unprecedented to my knowledge. Like you haven't seen that. And so now you're looking at starting caliber quarterbacks in their 40s taking multi-year deals. And Rodgers' style of play, given what sports science is now, he could play as long as he wants.
These dudes are all going into their 40s now. It's incredible.
So to that point, real quick about Brady, he was able to pull in all these pieces, and at that age, I mean, you have to be able to call those shots. Do you think, Richie, that Rodgers has all the pieces to get it done? And you said they can definitely win a Super Bowl, but what he has right now, they got it this year. You think they have a good shot?
They have a damn good shot. Number one, it's very hard for anybody to repeat, and Tampa has that tough task. The AFC is closing in on Kansas City, even though Kansas City has a rebuilt O-line. And third time's a charm for a lot of teams that have trouble getting over the hump.
Let's hear the Bills.
The Packers have a legitimate chance to do it. Devontae Adams is a phenomenal talent. Randall Cobb might turn back the clock a little, playing in a very comfortable environment that –
Cobb's going to take some pressure off of Devontae as well. So
he did well for Dallas 2 years ago, and where was he? Houston last year. So yeah, I don't think that's a real valid measure of where he's at.
Fuck you, AJ Hinch. But who would be interested in playing in Houston? Fuck you, AJ Hinch.
Not even their quarterback. So exactly. Tough on a wideout.
Watson's not even going to play this year.
You see the video from yesterday?
Uh-oh.
I did not.
John Watson says to reporters, they're filming him doing drills, and he says, "Why the fuck are y'all filming me every day? It's the same shit every day."
Ooh.
This is a dude that's clearly like, he's checked the fuck out. Yeah. He's held captive by that organization. It is fucked up.
Barry Conacher said yesterday that
our number one source
released Deshaun Watson, and I'm not gonna lie, I've been sleep deprived. I'm like, my eyes got real big. I was about to send it, be like, boys, he got traded. They're taking a chance, and I was like, oh, you douchebag, it's McConaughey
again. If they could be
on Deshaun Watson,
if they could be worse than 32nd, I mean, they're going to be the worst team in the NFL by a long shot. They might not win a game.
So. To bring it back to Green Bay, though, who is their toughest competition in the NFC at this point, Rich? I know you've been doing the research, getting ready for our NFL preview coming up. So you got a lot of data. Who is the NFC contenders?
Undeniably, Tampa is going to be their toughest opponent because Tampa proved last year in 2 meetings they match up pretty good with Green Bay. Tampa, number one for sure, toughest opponent. If your team, the Dallas Cowboys, can recommit to running the football very well, and they can certainly score points, the Cowboys can be a surprise and a legitimate threat to knocking out Green Bay.
Okay,
and
don't sleep on the Rams.
That was their next team I was going to mention. The Rams didn't have Aaron Donald for most of that game in the second round and still hung around. And mind you, this was in Lambeau. Now, they got a new quarterback, Matt Stafford, who's very familiar with playing against Green Bay and actually had some damn good games against them, even though he played for the horrific Lions. I'm not the biggest Stafford believer, but it's still an upgrade over Goff, and they got a hell of a defense.
I'm a believer.
Like 3 teams that pose the biggest threat.
2 best NFL defensive players in the NFL, arguably.
I mean, Michael Strahan, who's a Hall of Famer, said that Aaron Donald is the best he's ever seen. That's coming from some high praise.
Yeah, well, a lot of people feel the same way. He's probably, in my opinion, he is by far the best.
May very well be. May very well be.
Well, I don't know. I feel like this drama was just very unnecessary, and we all have egos. I get it, but I mean, the extent that this was taken to is kind of exhausting, in my opinion. So as a fan, I didn't like it with Rodgers, this whole scenario that happened, but
Me neither.
I get it. I can see. I try to put myself in his shoes and look at it from different angles, but fuck, it's annoying.
One last point on this with him wanting the Brady treatment. It's very simple. Green Bay has a lineage of winning. They were not as desperate as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who historically, even with their 2 Super Bowl victories, have the worst winning percentage in NFL history as a franchise. And that's including Tom Brady last year.
Wow.
That doesn't change everything. And you're not going to change a culture of an organization. The Packers culture is embedded generationally, like the Yankees, like the Celtics,
The winning culture.
like the Lakers. No, they're not going to bend for one guy, especially when that one guy, sorry, Aaron Rodgers, you lost a lot of title games, pal, even though you want the Brady treatment. Why don't you start winning like Brady does?
Yeah, you got an 11-8 playoff record, buddy, but you're nowhere near. You're not.
I'm sorry, Brady has won with less.
Sorry.
Other guys have won with less. I'm not blaming it on Aaron Rodgers, but I'm sorry, dude. He had a bad title game last year.
I'll put a lot of it on Rodgers. I know that's the scapegoat route that people.
He wants to be
put a lot on Rodgers.
looked at as that dude.
Yeah, if you want to be that dude, then own that shit.
Gotta be that dude. Can't have it both ways.
And speaking of that dude, we're gonna do a new segment for the viewer here called Start Bench Cut. If you haven't listened to our shows, we do this quite a bit. It's the first time we're doing it visually, so this will be fun. I get to actually see your reactions and your facial expressions here with these. How this segment works, guys, is we take 3 players. In this case, it's going to be Brett Favre, Bart Starr, and Aaron Rodgers. And you decide whether you're going to start, bench, or cut them. I give you 30 seconds on the clock. You make your points as to who you would start, bench, and cut, and why. And then I rate the winner, and we go from there, and then we'll wrap up the show. Make sense?
Yeah.
All right. Start, bench, cut. Let's see. We'll go ahead and start with Elliott today, and we'll go start, bench, cut. Brett Favre, Bart Starr, Aaron Rodgers. Go.
All right. So, as much as I'm not a fan of the man, I start Brett Favre. He's an all-time great. The stats don't lie. And when you read interviews, whatever you hear about his personality off the field, his teammates back him repeatedly again and again. So in the locker room, he's that dude you want. Which is why I'm comfortable putting Aaron Rodgers on my bench for the talent aspect. When I look at these exercises, I think of this as in the modern day. And that's why I cut Bart Starr, who's a legend, undeniably. They're all winners. That's what makes this fun. But I can't look at a player from back then and say, yeah, they'll be great today. So on that basis, I say I want Favre as my starter. I want the talent of Rodgers on the bench. And Starr, you're the man to go.
All right. Well done. A little more than 30 seconds, but I'll give you a minute as well, Rich. That's interesting, though. So you're starting Favre, benching Rodgers, cutting Bart Starr. Okay. I like your reasons, too. This is cool. This is a good game because it actually it transitions over different generations of football. So I like it. Rich, I want to see where you stand on these players. 30 seconds actually 60 seconds on the clock for you. Start, bench, cut. Brett Favre, Bart Starr, Aaron Rodgers, go.
Starting backwards and then moving up. I'm cutting Aaron Rodgers. He is the most talented of the 3 players, but he has come up smaller than the legend of him in these big games, and questionable leadership and respect from the teammates. Benching Bart Starr, I have to put him in the rotation because of the fact that he won 5 straight championships. If you look at the final days of the NFL before the merger and the original 2 Super Bowls, he put that team on the map. But the guy I got to start, to Elliott's point, is the guy who was the leader. He was a linebacker at the quarterback position. He played the game like a linebacker at the quarterback position. Had to get my dad's jersey out for this one. My man, Brett Favre. And the reason why, above all else, is after almost a 3-decade drought, during the golden age of what made the NFL the best sport in the country viewership-wise, Favre was the face of the league before Tom Brady. I'm out with that one.
Time's up there. This is interesting. This is really good. So, very similar playoff records between Rodgers and Favre. I'm going to give you guys a few stats real quick and then give you my decision as to who the winner is. 11-8 playoff record for Rodgers, 12-10 for Favre. Bart Starr, 5 NFL championships. He won Super Bowl number 1 and number 2. Only player in NFL history to lead a team to 3 consecutive league championships in 1965, 66, 67. Unreal. This was tough for me. I actually took quite a bit of time on this one. And I'm actually going to, based on my outlook on these and all the research I've done and the points that both of you guys have presented, Richie, you win. You are the winner, brother. I'm going to cut Aaron Rodgers. Hell of a player. Still has a lot to do. I'm absolutely going to bench Bart Starr. The reason why I'm going to start Brett Favre is because 299 games he played consecutively.
And neither one of us said that, which is crazy.
299 games consecutively.
Iron Man.
Get the actual fuck out of here.
No,
starter. You know why? Because
2 on that list means a lot to me because of what I think about Favre.
Exactly. But I'm saying Bart Starr is a close second. But if you're talking about a starter, that dude will be there. He will start.
Bro.
Among his other stats.
And he did it in the era where they took all kinds of beatings. If Favre played in this era, that dude would play until he's like 50.
They don't even allow you to even breathe on a quarterback now. So, yeah.
He took some serious beatings. That was a tough dude.
I'm going to start Brett Favre, bench Bart Starr, cut Aaron Rodgers. I think it's also a little, just annoyance with Rodgers lately. So, fuck him. I was cutting him anyway.
Stupid-ass sunglasses.
Yeah.
Got to put some counterpoints in real quick. I know I lost, but I want to point out a few things.
Go ahead.
Real quick. Rodgers' career is still in progress, so this conversation should be revisited at the end. Because if he loses the next several years and doesn't get it done, then it's a no-brainer. You say he's not a winner. He's a great player that couldn't get it done.
Think of it this way:
seems to be the narrative.
Currently, has the 3rd highest passer rating of all time. He's a great quarterback, but not a great winner yet in people's minds.
Still, believe it or not.
But the reason I think these 2 points are connected is there were some great coaches that Bart Starr had. Yeah, and Rich, you and I talked about this a little bit.
Wait, who would that be? Who would that be again? I'm sorry.
We got what's his name?
Vince
Barzo.
Lombardi.
Right? And before him, yeah.
His grandson's a coach with the Saints. Looks just like Vince. Just like.
So I'm just not to take away from Bart Starr's legacy, but when you talk about how many championships, it's a team sport, and when you have the greatest coach, arguably of all time. It takes a little luster off of your personal record, but that's just my logic behind it. Richie, congrats on the win. This is our first video version of this.
This was. I'll be honest. I almost thought he was going to give us a tie, and then we were going to have to go into coaches maybe.
No. It was cut and dry. Favre was always going to be my starter just because that dude's going to be there. He's going to start. He's going to play no matter what.
I made my decision this morning. I really mulled it over yesterday thinking about him and Rodgers. Because Rodgers is the most talented of the 3. But at the end of the day, it's all about winning. Because, look at Tom Brady. The man has more Super Bowls at quarterback than anyone. But I don't think too many people are going to say he's more talented than Peyton Manning. But he still is. He's the bigger winner, the greatest winner.
Yeah, and that's a tough argument as well. But, I don't know. Brett Favre is, 4th all-time in passing yards. You got a bunch of crazy random stats from these guys. And Rodgers' career is still developing. We're going to see where it goes.
MVPs for Brett Favre, too, which is damn impressive.
He's the only player in the history of the NFL to do that. So
and when you think about where his beginnings were as a backup quarterback, barely making the team on the Atlanta Falcons, when the Atlanta Falcons' 2 main players were Andre Rison on offense, Deion Sanders on defense, Brett Favre was warming the bench for them.
Yeah.
And then when Favre came to prominence, his backup was Mark Brunell, and he got the Jaguars started right.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, player that they couldn't protect, who they wanted to protect, because Brunell was damn good. And, he goes to the Jaguars. My Giants had a chance at him, but we didn't like left-handed quarterbacks.
Lefties are a different breed of cat. But
yeah, let's go get Dave Brown.
For us. Yeah. For my Jags, anyway.
Yeah.
All right, well, good job, man. Rich, your record's looking pretty good. I think we lost track of it, but maybe we could start fresh from here. But your start bench cut record is pretty solid.
Yeah, trying, man. Now, the one time I lost, I had to go rogue with Pacino and De Niro. And
you didn't take losing well.
No.
No, you really didn't.
Drunk dialing me, it was fucked up, man.
Yeah, I'm a Rodgers fan, You
were bitching more than Aaron Rodgers did this offseason.
Just pouting, bro. Pouting.
Oh, Jesus. Put that pouty-ass lip away. Put those dumbass sunglasses on and go cry yourself to sleep. That's what I was thinking. But, all right, gentlemen. Well, that was fun. We'll catch up with you guys on the next show. Thanks for watching. Yeah, look at this fucking hater blockers on.
Whoa.
All right, guys. I got to go to practice. Later.
Yeah, later. You guys have a good one. We'll catch up soon. Thanks for listening.
Later, bro.
Get it. Later, bro.